The biggest event on any bodybuilding calendar is the Mr. Olympia competition. It's held in Las Vegas this year, and it's between the 13th and the 16th of September, and it's the biggest competition for both men and female bodybuilders. As per men's bodybuilding, there's only 4 categories for men in the Olympia, and the smallest of which is called men's physique. It's all about having an athletic build, big wide shoulders, tiny narrow waist, being less than 5% body fat, and there's no leg development shown because they wear sort of swimming trunks, board shorts, however you call them, that go down to the knee, so you can't see any leg development. It's the sort of thing you'd see on the cover of Men's Health. And the current champion, who's won the last 4 in a row, looking for his 5th this year, is Jeremy Buendia. The next category is the 212 or 212, and what this is it's basically the muscliest short person you can get, because you have to be less than 5'5" and a maximum of 212 pounds. It's very similar to open bodybuilding, but everyone is just a bit shorter, so that's really all it is. There's only been one winner of this since its creation in 7 years ago actually, so about 2011. It was Flex Lewis. It is Flex Lewis. He is the 6-time champion, and he's looking for his 7th this year. The newest category to be added to bodybuilding is called Classic Physique, and what this is it's supposed to tackle the controversy and the criticisms of bodybuilding, saying it's gone too far, it's too big, people, just look like their heads are going to explode every time they bend down. And it's all about looking like the 60s, the 70s, sometimes the 50s. My sort of favourite physiques, people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Frank Zane, Franco Colombo, people like that. And there's obviously weight limits to make sure that people aren't too big, and it's all about having a classic physique. It's the 3rd year going this year, and the previous winner was Breon Ansley, and the year before that it was Danny Hester. Now the big boy with all the big boys in bodybuilding is known as Men's Open. So what that is it's just bodybuilding. You have to get as big as you can and as shredded as you can, and this is where it goes back to the 50s. This is the title that has been passed over so many years, from the 60s, sorry. And the current winner is Phil Heath, who's been winning since 2011 as well, maybe 2010 actually, sorry. So he's won 7, and he's looking for his 8th this year to become the 3rd joint all-time winner, along with Ronnie Coleman and Lee Haney. He's currently joint with Arnold Schwarzenegger on 7, but this is the main competition in bodybuilding. It's got the biggest prize money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and this has apparently gone too far, which is why they've introduced all the other categories. Founded in 1965 by Joe Weider with a prize money of $1,000, the Mr. Olympia competition was originally established to distinguish between the winners of the Mr. World, Mr. USA and Mr. Universe competitions, to try and distinguish who is the best bodybuilder in the world. Since then, it has become its own competition, and so many fantastic bodybuilders have won it. It's had controversies, it's had ups, it's had downs, and I think it's going to continue to be the biggest competition in bodybuilding history for a long, long time. As bodybuilding has always been a bit of a niche sport, to transition, and it's still transitioning into the mainstream, the 212, the men's physique and the classic physique were all implemented in, I think, 2011, 2012 and 2016 respectively, and it's sort of, Joe Weider has now died, but it was always his mission to grow bodybuilding into this whole worldwide sport and transition it into the mainstream, in the way that football is in this country, hockey in Canada, basketball in America. That's always been his plan, and his legacy lives on, but it's not quite there yet. So if you think you could beat a couple of these guys, you don't think they look all that, you've got to qualify. So how do you qualify for Olympia? You might be asking, you're probably not, but you might be. So there's a few ways to do this. So when you compete to get a pro card, which is how you enter competitions, there are 3 tiers of competition. There's a tier 1, so the Olympia is like God tier. Then you've got tier 1, which is like the Arnold Classic, and the I think the New York Pro, and then there's like tier 2 and tier 3. So you can either win any of these tier shows. If you win one of them, you're in, and you're in you qualify for Olympia, and obviously they have lots of stages through to filter to the final 10. Or there's point systems, so each place from 2nd all the way down to I think 5th gets you a certain amount of points, and depending on what tier you're in, depends on how many points you get for coming in that place. So like a tier 2 show, I think coming in second gets you, let's say 15 points for example, whereas if you came second in a tier 2 show, you'd only get 12, that sort of thing. And you have to, I think, get 25 points. I don't think that's how many points you get, but you need to get, I think, 25 or 50 to qualify for a show. Or you can get a special invite like Flex Wheeler did last year to compete in the classic physique bit. But you know, it's not easy to qualify. This is the biggest competition in the world, so if you think you can, you better get cracking. So of course everybody has their favourite categories, and they're all really exciting. There's always something to watch and look forward to, be excited about for all the different categories, all 4 of them. But my favourite is the classic physique. It has to be hands down the best thing I think could have happened to bodybuilding at this time, because it's just so much more fun seeing how people can shape their bodies, change how they look, because they have to stay in a different weight class. So for the Olympia, everyone just gets bigger and bigger every year, you know what you're going to see. But to get better and improve when you can't put on too much more weight, it's interesting to see how they can shape their bodies, because it's a lot more about genetics and muscle structure, because anyone can get big and put on loads and loads of weight, etc, etc, obviously with the use of substances. But to see how they can really shape how they look, I think it's really, really interesting. And the egos aren't really there yet in this category, because it hasn't been around enough for people to win 7 times in a row like Phil Heath and become, you know, too big for his boots, and, you know, I think he's God's gift, etc, etc. Same with Jeremy Buendia. He's really full of himself, and fair enough, they're champions, they've won it so many times. But it's nice to see everyone seems to be so nice to each other in classic physique. You know, it sounds wet, but you know. That's the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and tell me what you enjoyed, maybe what you didn't enjoy. Would you like me to carry on making these sort of videos or not? It's entirely up to you. Took me ages to make. I had to write scripts because I didn't want to ramble. It took me about 20 takes to record every clip because I can't really speak. But if you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on social media here somewhere, and enjoy the rest of your days.